Hey everybody, it's me, Jim D, and you're up here now.
Am I up there?
You're above me now.
You're
Hey,
above me right now.
Reggie,
And Jim D.
somewhere. Anyway,
Hopefully by now you know who we are.
there you go. Yeah. So, we're here
Welcome
to
to
talk
this
about this
episode of
document on the screen. What's that?
Welcome to this episode of
Chatterbox.
Chatterbox.
It's not really an episode, but that's all right.
Well, kind of.
Kind of, sorta.
People got to
Chatterbox.
people got to suffer through our chatter.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. As we have mentioned a while back about a group build, um, January 1st is fast approaching, and we figured, well, you know what, we better get the chatter out there about this so everybody knows what's going on. So I got the we got the rule set here, and we're gonna go through this real quick. Well, maybe not real quick, but we're gonna go through this. We're gonna some of it we're not going to be as thorough as others because some of it doesn't matter right now. Go ahead.
Real quick, for those who may just be popping in and didn't see our last Chatterbox episode, this is all about a group build that Jim came up with that we wanted to have lots of participants, and we kind of made an announcement then that we'd be doing something like this. So that's where this is coming from.
Right. Live from, never mind.
Live from New York. Live from Chatterbox.
Baseball's
It's
been very, very good to me.
Thursday night.
All right. So we're going to hauling this the Chatterbox Attack Bomber Aircraft Group Build. And I'll start with the first bullet. How's that?
Let her rip.
First bullet, there will be a Facebook group for the participants to share information, progress, and ideas. The group is private and only accessible to members of the build. The group's name is Chatterbox Attack Bomber Aircraft Group Build. Send us a message via Messenger or other means, and we will add you to the group. Us being Brett or I. That group exists now. And the reason it exists now is, as you'll see going forward, you will need to be in the group in order to get the code word that will be released when the build starts. And we'll talk about that and what that all means and whatnot here in a minute. You want to take the times?
It begins 0001 GMT, January 1st, 2023, which is rapidly approaching,
Yes.
and ends 0001 GMT, July 1st, 2023.
What the heck is GMT?
Greenwich Mean Time, for all those who don't know.
And why did I pick that? Or why did we pick that? Well, it's kind of a universal thing. It's kind of the 0 point, I guess you could say, of it's the meridian zero.
Exactly. What they call that, prime meridian?
Prime meridian,
Is that what it's called? Or it used to be? I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
Long time ago, it used to be called BC, but
Yeah,
there was even a comic strip about it. Just saying.
right. So you just need to figure out what your local time is from that, and it's really not that critical until we get to the ends, to get your final stuff in. But we'll worry about that in 6 or 8 months. Well, 6 months anyway, 5 or 6 months. Um, so um, it's 6 months for a reason because we realize everybody has life other than this. Well, some people I know don't. Some people build 12 hours a day because they don't have to go to work.
There you go. Or
And
it
that's
is their work.
okay. That's okay. That gets expensive though. You burn through kits pretty fast when you're spending 40 hours a week at the bench or more. Okay, I'm going to move on to requirements here. Requirements. must be a non-fiction historical aircraft. For example, no TIE bombers. Um,
No space
I don't-
battleship Yamato.
yeah, I hope that's clear. I don't know um, if I can make that clearer, but it's got to have actually existed, and yeah, it'd be an aircraft. Um, Trying to think, was there any other stipulation that we made?
Other than your other bullet point there, the next one down.
Well, go ahead. Your turn.
Well, not bullet, well, sub bullet point. Okay, so as Jim said, it must be a nonfiction historical aircraft, i.e., no TIE bombers.
Right.
It must have been originally designed as an attack or bomber platform, i.e., no fighter bombers. So, for example, Jim, you had said at one point, uh, I never can remember the A8 versus the F8 in the FW-190s,
Yeah.
but designed as a fighter, but eventually
Yeah.
they said, oh, we can use this as a bomber too.
Right.
No.
No P-47s.
Yep. As much as that hurts, Jim.
Yeah.
So
Um,
stuff like Stukas, SVD Dauntless, Avengers,
yeah.
B-17s, bombers
Yeah.
slash attack,
Even XP-70, even though it never went into production.
Sky
Uh,
Raiders.
yeah. Yeah. Um,
Uh, I'll throw this
World,
in real quick. If you're curious and you're unsure, just shoot a message on the Facebook group and we'll answer it. We'll say,
yeah.
oh yeah, that works, or no.
Yeah. Right. And yes, I'm a rule guy, but most of you people already know that.
Rules are good.
What are my 3 rules about rules? if you're not following the rules, it's one of 3 things: either you didn't read the rules, you didn't understand the rules, or you don't think the rules apply to you. That's it. That's all there is. Anyway, moving on. um, any scale, any era. That's self-explanatory. I don't think I have to go into that. You're up.
Fixed wing, rotary wing, or airship. A-okay.
Yeah, I'm again, if you have something that you're not sure about, ask us, because I tried to cover everything, but maybe I forgot something in there. Um, I don't know. Anyway, um, aftermarket okay. Um,
Scratch build okay.
That's build okay.
So any combination. Like
Any
you want to use resin parts, you want to use 3D parts, you want to use PE parts, you want to use it right out of the box. If you want to, whatever, doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're a 3D printer person, have fun. Go for it. We're not going to get into that debate here on this one. Not on this
But
one.
you have to at least start with something out of a box. You can't just
Right, yeah,
3D
yeah.
print a
You
whole
got
something.
you got to start with a kit. Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to 3D print yourself a bunch of wheels and gun turrets and engines, more power to you.
Additional details. Um, which may or may not be to your advantage, and I'll get into that later. But
I have a question.
yes.
Okay, say for instance, a person wanted to build a B-17,
Uh-huh.
and because we didn't do anything about markings on here,
Correct.
could a person do an aircraft, say a B-17, that looked the part, but was actually fictitious markings, like
Sure.
code numbers, nose art, stuff like that, that never existed?
Sure. You
Cool.
mean like period correct but fictitious?
Exactly.
Like I do all the time. Yeah.
There
I
you go.
mean,
Okay.
that's because I'll tell you why I do that a lot, is because to me it's representative of the era and whatnot, and it doesn't because I'm not always trying to do something specific. I'm just trying to get across. If you were there at this time, this is the basic idea. This is what you would
Right.
see. So yeah, no, I don't have an issue with that. I
Cool.
don't see any problem with that at all. I'm trying to think. Um, I don't know that it even matters if it's completely outlandish and crazy. To be honest,
A fictitious, what do they
completely.
call those? Formation aircraft.
Yeah, that or
Like that Wonder Bread B-24 that Shepard
yeah,
Payne did back in the
yeah,
day.
yeah. Or even a uh, it's an Air Force that never flew it or something. Yeah, I
Okay, cool.
whatever. Um,
Excellent.
that did, however, make me think of something else, which would be fire bombers. Do we include fire bombers? I've never even thought about it.
Fire bombers.
Yeah,
Oh, you mean like B-17s and B-24s they used to use
yeah,
they bought off the surplus market to use for fighting wildfires. You know
yeah,
what? I would say yes.
yeah,
That would be kind of cool actually.
yeah. So it would again, it would have to have started as an attack or a bomber platform, and then you could do a fire bomber conversion if you wanted to. Cool. All right, good.
Well done. Good thinking.
Um, so now here's where we start getting into the nitty gritty. Must post an image of the open unstarted kit that shows the sprues and other contents, to the Facebook group Chatterbox Attack Bomber Aircraft Group Build with the code word included in the image. The code word will be provided to the group at 0001 GMT on January 1st, 2023. Now, what does this all mean? Well, as you may have seen on other group builds where they want you to post a picture of the kit with a newspaper or with your phone or whatever, and that works fine. Don't get me wrong, that works fine. But not everybody has multiple phones, and not everybody has a newspaper, and not everybody knows what a newspaper is anymore.
Oh, I was gonna say what?
And so this is just an easier way to do it, where you have a code word and you just don't release it until the build starts, and then you just write it on a piece of paper and include it in the photo. um and nobody knows what it is until it's released, well, obviously, except for myself and Brett. um so um and that just made me think of something else when we get down to the voting and stuff, but go ahead.
All right, next. Twice a month there will be a Google Meet call to share updates with the group. Participation is encouraged but not mandatory. Details to come.
Yeah, so the whole point of this thing is to get a bunch of people together and have a good time.
Social interaction.
Yeah, that's the whole point. And I just figured this would be a good way to do it. The Google Meet call, there's various ways to do it. We we could share screens. Um, People could send their photos or whatever to myself or to Brett, and we could just share them, and you could talk while we're sharing them, and just tell us to change, flip pictures or whatever. However you want to do it. If you're not tech savvy and you don't want to deal with all that stuff, um,
Just drop in and blab
yeah, just drop in a blab,
or
whatever. But
spectate.
basically, it's going to be show and tell. Um, if that works out well, maybe we could have a group build session or something one weekend or something, or who knows? We'll see where it goes. Um, but the point being is to share and to have a good time and to chat, um, and that said, also, you know, make sure you're posting in the Facebook group and stuff and whatnot. And the only thing that we will ask is that we keep it related to the group builds.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
The twice a month thing also. One time it'll be early in the day for us, and one day it'll be late in the day for us. That way, it allows people in drastically different time zones to have a better chance of being able to participate in
correct. Yeah,
it.
yeah. You wanna
So, that way, I mean, some people, it's like, well, first one you guys do a month, I'm asleep, so I'm not going to be there. But
right,
that's kind of
right.
the way there.
Yeah, yeah. We wanna give we want maximum exposure, I guess. We want to try and give the best, you know, maximum experience to everybody. How's that?
There you
Not
go.
like a bunch of marketing garbage there or what? Okay. Voting. You mind if I just run through this? I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but because it
Well,
doesn't.
we'll outline more of it on the Facebook page and get into nitty gritty and answer questions and stuff. But this is the gist of it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter for another 6 months, but um, method to be determined. The reason I put that there is I'm actually working on a custom database driven voting application thing that I should have done by then, and it will be ultra cool. And the reason I'm doing that is twofold. One, because I've always wanted to, and two, because there's nothing really out there on the web that really works, whether it's a poll on Facebook or whatever. There's nothing that works well, um, in my opinion. So, and if I can't get that done in time, I'll find something else. Um, only participants may vote. Now, let me elaborate on this a bit. This is a private Facebook group. The only people in the group are participants in the build. Um, it's not a public group. Um, so you will basically be judged by your peers. Um, okay. Next up, each eligible voter has one vote and may not vote for themselves. The system will not let you vote for yourself. The system will not let you vote for me, and the system will not let you vote for Brett. We are participating, but we are not um,
Part of
eligible.
the judge, right?
Yeah, we just because we don't think it's right that we're um, for us to be eligible. It's just not kosher.
It is not.
Yeah. Um, schedule. Okay, this is cut and dry here right now. Photos must be submitted as a post in the Facebook group no later than 001 GMT on July 1st, 2023. Voting will commence at 001 GMT July 2nd, 2023, and will close at 001 GMT July 9th, 2023. Any votes received after 001 GMT on July 9th, 2023 will not be counted. Now, it's a 7-day. I made it 7 days so that everybody has a chance to vote. Obviously, if everybody votes before then, we'll just shut it down and do it early.
There you go.
But here's one thing I want to say. I gave myself 24 hours to get all the get get the voting stuff all set up. Basically meaning I need to take all the photos from Facebook and import them into the voting platform. Depending on how many people get involved, that may not happen in 24 hours. So that might have to slip. We won't know until we get there. But it'll be no more than a week to vote, basically. No more, no less. Well, it could be less, like I said, if everybody already votes. So anyway, just be aware it may take me longer to get the voting stuff all ready, depending on how many people are involved. Okay. Um, Now, here's the next part's important. Based on at least 6 photographs, but not more than 12. Out of these photographs, these must include the following: 1 fore, 1 aft, 1 port, 1 starboard, 1 top, and 1 bottom. Meaning from the front of the aircraft, from the rear of the aircraft, from the left side, from the right side, from the top, and from the bottom. We basically want to see a plan view from all 6 angles. You can add an additional 6 photos of anything that you want.
Angle shots, glamour shots,
Yeah,
whatever.
The idea being is we have a base for everybody, and then you can get a little creative on that. And I'm going to do a video on some suggestions and whatnot other than this. But you will notice it says here, please use a solid color background, no bases of any kind, no other objects or support equipment not attached to the aircraft. All we're interested in is the aircraft.
Okay, I have a question for you. Say, and I'm playing devil's advocate here. What if somebody builds it gear up? Can they have it on a stick,
Yeah,
or would you rather just be sitting on their background?
No, you can have it on your stick. Yeah.
Because that might include a base of some kind. Like if the stick's stuck in a base.
Yeah.
Maybe keep the base out of shot, except for maybe the glamour shots.
No, I'm more concerned with something turning into a diorama and having a bunch of other distracting stuff involved. If it's something like a aircraft on a stick with it like over the ocean or something, I don't know that that's a big problem, because really you're just concentrating on the aircraft on a stick.
Right. Gotcha.
Um, and the solid color background, I mean, that's that's doing you a favor. That's keeping all the distractions out. So
Yep. So you're looking at the detail and
yeah.
all that stuff
And
instead of
again,
what's going on.
yeah, I'll talk about photography in another video and what we're really ending up with here. Okay, and miscellaneous. You want to cover that there, Brett?
Miscellaneous. This is a G-rated group build. All age groups are welcome, and we want this to be family friendly. So we know some people like to run their groups the way they want, and that's perfectly fine. However, with this group, we want to keep it G rated. So that means keep the language clean. Uh, the conversation, all that kind of stuff. And, because a lot of us have families and stuff like that, I could have grandkids sitting behind me on the ground, my 3 or 4 year old. So let's just keep it G rated and family friendly.
Yeah, and if you can't do that, you know, that's fine. Just move along.
Yep.
Move along, or we'll move you along. One of the two. Um,
Hopefully not.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully not. I mean, hopefully it's not an issue. I don't think it is for most people. Um, Most of you are likely aware that Facebook has been known to block images containing specific insignia, and yeah, we're not saying it because it could pertain to other things too, but most everybody knows what we're talking about. We do not have an issue with the use of these insignia, but be aware that Facebook may block your photos. Now, I personally have never had a photo blocked, and I have posted many, many, many photos of model aircraft with swastikas on the tail, and I've never had anything taken down. But I know people who have, so I
Yep.
don't know.
Same here. I've never posted one, just because I just never have. But I too know of people that have had their photos blocked. So I've heard of people just recently, as a matter of fact, quite a prominent YouTuber that when he builds, we'll just use this as an example. When he builds German aircraft, he does not put the swastika on the tail just because it's kind of his thing, this whole social media aspect of everything. So he doesn't want his pictures pulled. And he had commented and said, look, I realize I'm missing insignia. I, don't worry about it. I know it. Don't,
Right.
hey, you forgot something. Well, yeah, I know I forgot something. It's pretty prominent. I'm not going to just forget it. I just did put it on there. So, with that in mind, when it does come to judging your peers, if somebody chooses to do that, or maybe if they do kind of a sloppy job of covering it up with, software utensils,
Yeah.
or if they stick a piece of post-it note on there to cover it up so it doesn't get pulled from, don't knock them because of that.
Right. Yeah. Let it
Just
fly.
understand there's a reason why they're doing that. They're not just like, oh, I'm clueless. Just I doubt if that would even be an issue, but just so everybody knows, don't, if you don't want to put that insignia on there, don't. You want to cover it up, cover it up. You won't get dinked by hopefully your peers for not having that on there.
Right. Yeah. 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 Let it slide. Let it slide.
Yeah.
Um, and I'll talk about this more. I'll do a video later on photography, but when you do an online thing with this, it's basically image based. It's things are easily I don't want to say manipulated, but um, you could angle things a certain way so certain things can't be seen, and and stuff like that. And that's just part of the deal. So I would suggest that if you got something that you got a big thumbprint on the bottom of a wing or something, and you just set your photos up so that you can't see it, or it's not prominent or whatever, and take advantage of the media. I mean, the reason we want the six um base photos is so that we can see everything. But
Right.
um when you're doing your up to six photos that you want, that are your choice, just keep that in mind. You don't have to show off the things you don't want to. Like I said, I'll do another video about that in general, but that's about it. That's the gist of it. So if you have questions, put them in the comments, whatnot. If you want us to add you to the group, um, just let Brett or I know through Instagram, Facebook, um, whatever.
And
I'll put links below. Oh, excuse me. Something I don't know if we mentioned. This goes on for 6 months. You can build as many models as you want for it. You can jump in at the beginning. You can jump in at the end. You could jump in the day before it ends. This is really loose as far as that goes. So, if you can finish six in 6 months, feel free. If you can, if you start something and you're not feeling it and you want to do something else, feel free. Um,
if you're
whatever.
committed to other group builds, or you're going to be on a vacation in the Bahamas until, March, when you get back home,
Just say, hey, I want in.
once the pain of the sunburn wears off, dive in, start late.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, don't feel like you have to be there right at the beginning to start, because that's not the case at all. You can start whenever, and the only thing that's solid is the end date, because it's got to end sometime. But yeah, that's about it. Anything else?
No, I think that's pretty much. I mean, it's, people have questions, just throw them on the Facebook page, and we can fine tune stuff. And if we have to make amendments to the sheet, of, for pertinent questions that could affect everybody, then,
Right.
we can do that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess that's it. So, as usual, take care of the people you love.
And we'll see you all later.